Alright guys, we are back. We just got through shooting down a UFO over the Nigerian airspace. We're getting ready to send our 4 brave recruits to go take care of business. This is actually your first real test. You get to see a new enemy. It's known as the Outsider, aka Grunt's nemesis. He absolutely hates the thing. When I played on normal, I never understood what the problem was. And then, as I bumped it up to classic, he got a whole bunch of more health, and he's very powerful, so I found out that why.
It looks like the aliens went down in a sparsely populated area. If there are civilians
the trick is if you can have your first crew here for the first 3 missions, that'll set you up on a really good path to start moving other people around. Here's one of our cool screenshots here, or cutscenes here of our guys getting out there, running real quick. You don't normally get to see where the crash happened. Sometimes they'll give you visual cues, such as fire or whatnot, and you can go, oh, okay, well, it's in that area. Sometimes you can go way out, though, and see it. So basically, we kind of have to play it really safe here. So you're going to be seeing a lot of overwatching as we're going through. Normally you get about 2 to 3 groups of sectoids in the beginning, and then you'll also have your Outsider is what he's called, and like I said, he can be a pretty big pain in the neck, depending on
target position now.
Where you're located at. He gets like a super bonus. So the general rule of thumb is the second you see the Outsider is almost do whatever it takes to get the kill.
Got my eyes on it.
And you'll pretty much see me do that way. Normally, as a rule of thumb, you're not wanting to blow up anything inside the spaceship, just because of the simple fact that you can salvage the power core and the flight computers, and they will help you be able to build different things. Here in the beginning, you're basically just kind of fanning out to try to find where they're going to go, where the spaceship is. So you kind of have to be careful. As usual, I tend to leave the sniper for last, just because, if he can get a shot on somebody, then we're in business. It's easier to fight long range than short range. Like I said, I know it's boring as all get out in this beginnings here, but that's kind of where we're at. We just have to roam around until we find them. And there's our visual clue, which definitely does help. It says, hey, there at least are some enemies in that direction.
On my way.
So naturally, I'm going to kind of fan out that way. I do know that there's, these maps can be fairly large. So the last thing you want to do is get lost and then get caught flanked.
Roger, I got my eyes
while you're trying to flank the enemy. Even though I did get a visual clue of an enemy to the left, I'm still going to kind of flank out to the right a little bit.
Affirmative.
Just because, like I said, the amount of enemies we do have, and also in the grand scheme of things, we are still fairly close to each other. So we do know they're over there. We're just kind of spreading around. We're looking to see if we can see the spaceship, and there it is. So we do at least know that the Outsider spawns once you get to close enough to the ship for him to spawn. As a general rule of thumb, when you're playing and the Outsider shows up, just because he's your first real tough enemy, you want to wait for him to be last, or make sure that you've killed all the sectoids. You definitely don't want to have it where all of a sudden you're trying to decide, well, I can't run here because there's sectoids, but I really need to go there if I'm going to kill the Outsider. So, it's kind of one of those games where naturally you want to find all the enemies as quickly as possible so you can get a game plan going. But in classic mode and in impossible, which we're not worried about, they're kind of wanting to take care of one squad of bad guys if possible, and that's what we're going through here, just kind of turtling it, so to speak, not going very fast, just like let's see what we can find. If we find an enemy good, we can make appropriate decisions. This is about as close as I like to go to the spaceship without already finding some bad guys. And the reason why is because of the outsider spawning. As you can see, we just found 2 guys, so we do have at least an idea. And this one right here that just went off in the middle, that's generally the outsider kind of tempting there. Finally, we get some Overwatch shooting.
Shot wide.
We do what we can. Clean a couple people. Here's another one that dropped down. He's actually flanked.
They're trying to
And
flank
he's
us.
going to have his partner come down with him. And they're going to take a shot. We actually got lucky because they actually had a pretty good look at us right there. Thankfully, our big heavy, he was able to dodge it a little bit. So now we're trying to look and see what's going to be the appropriate course of action here.
Yes,
We're
Commander.
going to actually try to flank. They took, we know they're not running Overwatch, so we can move freely. We just got to decide who we want to take out. They're going to take the furthest one out because we'll have to run closer, so we can definitely get in there and cause some damage, and that's what we're working on right now. Here, he can get right next to him if he dashes, so obviously we're going to go to the running gun, just because we can get ourselves behind cover and still get our kill. So here he goes, he's running. I pulled out the shotgun instead of the pistol. Right on top of him, 100%. Tell him to sit down. That's what we want. Running gun's very important. Like I said, here in the beginning, before we get beam weapons, you'll run shotgun. Once we get beam weapons, we'll actually go to an assault rifle. They're the only character in the game that can have one or the other. Everybody else has weapon specifics. So now, we killed those 2, but we still know about the other 2 that were to the left here. So we're trying to play this, touch and go game, so to speak, of, well, we know there's a crew out there running around. We have to just see if we can find them. Plus, we do also know how close can we get to without the outsider showing up.
Got it covered.
And so that's what we're doing. We're just kind of building around here, just in case somebody wants to show their face. Like I said, this is about as close as I really want to get, and I really don't like getting that close. I got lucky, and the outsider didn't spawn up. So
Let's do this.
Here we go. We're running. This is the end of our turn, and there's our prompt, basically saying there's an enemy there, which, as I've told y'all, is the outsider. Also the name of a great song.
Got it. Moving.
If you know of it.
Enemy spotted.
I definitely enjoy it.
Can't be right. If they were,
And there's the outside.
that's a being of almost pure energy.
He moved fairly quickly just to take cover, but I mean, this guy, his critical does 9. I mean, there's no way you survive this first engagement. Seriously, that's how dangerous this guy is. I mean, I've been in full cover before, and he still is just blasting my face off. This is the guy that will take out a crew in a hurry. And with him having 5,
To withstand an impact like that, at such a velocity, the materials used in that vessel's hull must be at least an order of magnitude
outside
beyond
of the
any
rocket
element
launcher
we know
doing
of.
6 damage, and possibly the shotguns doing up close, doing a critical damage hit. I mean, that's about your best choices, unless you're going to try to go get 2 guys. So what I'm doing here is, I don't have a great shot, but I do have Cervantes that's waiting on a flank, so even though I normally don't do this, I wanted to go ahead and kill this guy. So taking off the guaranteed 3. That way, even if I wing him with the assault rifle, it still takes 2 away, which will kill him. And that was my primary thinking on that. We got Cervantes here, who he gets a good 85% chance there. Gets him down. And we still have enemies on the playing field. Normally, I get to work it out to where he's the last enemy. Unfortunately not. So we've got 1 more. But we're getting there. Now we just kind of have to fan out. Let's see where they are. See if we can find out where they're hiding at.
Aye, aye, Commander.
That's the thing, the computer in normal mode, it basically
Roger, I got my eyes
hinders the AI, whereas in classic mode and higher, it will actually allow them to, it unshackles them. I mean, they just basically run wild and they'll do whatever they want. One example is in normal mode, I think the most you'll ever see is like 4 around you, and in classic mode and higher, they'll actually, it doesn't matter, they'll send everybody if you've got somebody out of place.
Okay.
So what we're waiting on right now is we're just kind of hanging loose and finding out if they'll tell us where they're hiding at. And there's our visual cue, basically saying, hey, we've moved all the way over here, so we're gonna work our way over there. Puff, he only had one round left, one firing left in his LMG, so I decided, since we didn't know where they were and we had pretty decent coverage, I would go ahead and reload him. And there's actually in the forge an unlock. You can, I think it's actually you double the amount of shots they take before reloading.
Moving to designated coordinates.
So I mean, that's something we will probably work towards, just because I mean, you can get into matches with 16 or more. I've ran into like 16 is the most I've ever ran into, so I'm sure there's even more once it comes down to it.
I think I heard something.
So the alien activity, basically just going, hey, here we are. We're slowly but surely going to try to get over there. I'm going to run dash full cover here, and the reason why is I had full cover, and also if we do get to see them,
yes, Commander,
then I've got my sniper rifle ready.
Roger that. Scanning.
So that's what we're working on. We're just kind of slowly, you know, turtling it around, just trying to find all the enemies here.
Moving to position. Come get some.
Grunto there, he's only used one shotgun round, so I'm not going to reload him or anything. And so we're fanning out here, just trying to see if we can get some, A, find out where they are, and B, try to see if we can flush them around. The good news is that we know they are sectoids, and that sectoids do run away.
I got my eyes on
From it, so that is one thing we can do, is if we run if we extend ourselves a little bit out but we run into them and we're in cover, it's okay, because they're gonna run from us. Now there's other enemies that, as we saw with the outsider, when he got spotted, even though he did get behind cover, he actually did run forward. I've seen him where he'll run way up, and that really puts you in a tough spot, because that's just a reaction. That's not a move for him. So basically, next time, you know, once you've moved and done your thing, it's the alien activity turn. Well, all of a sudden, he's in prime position to take you out. Hence why I place such an onus on going after him. Like I said, here we're close. We know we're close, you know, at the boundaries and whatnot. So now we're just having to wait and just see if we can run into them. As I said, normally I don't dash, but I dash there because I get full coverage. There they are. You can see how they ran backwards. Gives us an ability to know where they are and set ourselves up. We've got full coverage. Unfortunately, we cannot shoot the sniper. And the pistol only hits him once. There is a perk for the sniper that'll actually give 2 more damage for the pistol. So that's really helpful. You know, you have to decide between it, or you have to decide between a +10 defense and aim if you're higher up. So I mean, both of those are important. You just kind of have to decide which one you want. Now here they're taking a shot at our sniper. He missed. So now we get to try to make them pay. And, you know, we're not going to use our pistol. We're going to use our sniper rifle. And since you can see the camera change, that's all day. Alright, now we got one last one left. And I'm actually going to, I referenced this, I think, in the first video, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't done it yet. And it was unintentional, but it worked out exactly the way I wanted it to, if that makes any sense. As you can see, Grunt ran up there, and they do kind of have a decent angle on him. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to end this thing, and we're just going to go and try to blow it up with our rocket launcher. You can't move and shoot the rocket, so I just have to shoot the rocket launcher. I'm trying to tweak it just right so I can keep him inside the sectoid, inside the bubble, so he'll get hit by the splash damage. That's why I'm aiming this shot. And we're going to line up, and as you can see, it did not kill him, but it did blow up his cover, which is just as important. So what we can do is we can run up Cervantes. Yes, he's out in the open, but he's got a clean, wide open shot. We're going home, ladies and gentlemen.
Chalk up another one.
And that's the advantage, especially if you get bigger enemies with a lot more health. I mean, that's something that you can definitely look at just because of the simple fact that, hey, I can blow up his cover and then I can let my guys go do something else. So, you know, it's one of those deals where you can attack multiple ways on things. And that's the way we want to do it. So now that we've protected the Nigerian satellite, we get to come on back home, and we're gonna look at how our squad did. You know, Puff leveled up the last game.
Exemplary performance.
Everybody else gets.
Let's hope all of these operations go as smoothly as this one did.
Due to kills and/or the mission. Now, Flash here, he gets a choice between Snapshot, which is I can move and then shoot my sniper rifle, but I get a negative 20 damage, or I get squad sight, which means that as long as I can see him, and then all of a sudden a teammate is close enough to see him, and it'll have an icon, and I'll show it, I can shoot, and it's ridiculous. It's the best, probably one of the best ones in the game. Now for Grunt here, he either gets 5% defense for every enemy he can see, or a critical damage. Well, you know, criticals are important, but if we're using the shotgun or even the beaming rifle, I want that defense. I mean, if we can send him in and get defense, then we're in business. Now, for the support here, we can either move 3 more spots per turn, which is important. The 3 tiles are good. Or we can make it where if we've got him in Overwatch, it doesn't matter if they don't have to move. They can take a shot at one of our guys, and if he sees it, he will fire back at them. So it's important. I mean, it's a good move, and that's why we use it. Now we're going to go to the gray market, and as you can see, we have 2 damaged, and then we got a power core that's damaged. And like I said, part of that's probably due to us with the grenade blowing some stuff up, but I'd rather, you know, this is early, so I'd rather do that and go ahead and have all my guys healthy. Because this is your first test. The next test is what's known as a terror mission. And I'll let you know when that comes up, and that's where it's probably one of the hardest levels in the game, is the first terror mission. We've got everything pretty much set up here. As you can see, our satellite will be ready in 18 days. Our council reports at 19. That way we can go ahead and shoot it up and get the bonus money for it. Now what we're doing here is we're going to go ahead and build a power generator. And as you can see, there are 2 steam vents underneath it. What that does is once we start building underneath, we can build steam generators, and since they'll stack on top of each other, we'll get bonuses for them. And that allows us to build things as well, so that's why we went ahead. You know, it's fairly cheap, so we went ahead and did that. Now here's showing where our workshop is done. The workshop gives us 5 extra engineers, which, as we know, makes things go down cheaper. But
the new
if you start linking them together,
Commander.
I think it's a 7% rebate on anything you build. So as you can imagine, if you get enough of them together, and I think I don't remember the exact amount it maxes out at. It may be 50% or something like that, but you can make a lot of money off of that. Plus the engineers. So here we go. We're going through. We're researching. Next up, alien materials. This is for our shields. So we have a big decision. This is basically just like a vest, But we have to decide, do we want to research beam weapons or carapace armor? And the carapace armor naturally makes it a little bit stronger.
Research task,
but,
Commander.
you know, sometimes the best defense is a great offense, and that's the way we're going to play here, is we want beam weapons. We can put, you know, beam weapons in our hands, we can make things a lot more powerful. So that's the way we're going at it with this. Now, this is our power generator just finishing. So obviously, we're, you know, slowly but surely getting exactly the foundation laid down. Still got 14 days before we are at the council report. You know, so we're still waiting on that. Here we are. We're just kind of looking at everything. To the left of the satellite uplink will go another one, and then probably to the left of it, I'm not sure exactly what I'll build just yet. Maybe another workshop or whatnot, I'm not sure. But here we go. We're gonna fast forward till our next mission. As you can see, there is a little bit of a break, but this is an incoming council communication. What this is a special deal. A lot of times they give these to you if you've got a country that's very high up. Now, in this situation here is for Japan. They are wanting us to dispose of a bomb, you know, we get some money off of it, and we also get to reduce their panic levels, which is also very important. You know, right now these are council missions. They're still fairly important, so we're wanting to use our crew. So we're gonna go with that, and guys, next time.